There's no, it's all just syllables.
have good mind. Namo Guru Be Namo Vedaya Namo Dharamaya Namo Sangaya Namo Guru Be Namo Vedaya Namo Dharamaya Namo Sangaya Namo Guru Be Namo Vedaya Namo Dharamaya Namo Sangaya Maya Samaya Jumi Kiraya Paroshi Maya Kirmanga Namaya Kirmaya Voyami Soya Raya Re Yeri Shaya Te Samaya Daya Be Yamaya Naya Shaya Telo Deyata Gayate Gayate Paraya Gayate Paraya Saya Gayate Moyade Saha Deyata Gayate 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 Sangayate Bodhi Soha Deyayata Gayate Gayate Paraya Gayate Paraya Sangayate Bodhi Soha. Gre Tondo Jingi Jumon Tame Tene Vijenda Chawat Tebado Jebezo Zojene Daki Deja Tandra Dele Yo Sai Peje Shushin Meto Cham Rero Lenye Yembe Sanje Shindo Mete Bongai Rokwen Nanda Kinga Sherber So Edama Guru Namala Neya Daya Me Sanganje Chedon Doje Chonala Shancho Padu Dane Shosuchi Dage Jeke Jeke Sonam Dola Peshe Sangye Lobar So Sanganje Chedon Doje Chonala Shancho Padu Dane Shosuchi Dage Jeke Sonam Dola Peshe Sangye Lobar So Sanganje Chedon Doje Chonala Shancho Padu Dane Shosuchi Dagi Chudne Debe Samamanchi Gola Peshe Sangye Lobar So. Tonight we are together for the action of Dharma. So we try to make a good motivation for the session will be completely good or great quality of them. The motivation is like this. We are together here. I give a talk, you listen to teachings. What is for that? That is our self to be free from delusion and illusion, means two obstacles of the becoming great enlightenment. I try to purify of those, and try to make a collection of two different kinds of merits. Merit of merit and the merit of wisdom. And that's the way. That's in short ways. I want to do this because myself, I want to become a being with for benefit for the others. That's why I do study. That's why I do meditation. All those spiritual actions are same motivation, same dedication also. So now we learn from a teacher. A teacher always mention, did you have good mind with you all the time? Means not now, temporarily. Are you having good mind? That's not really that. All the ways. Did you have had something? Do you have good mind? Means from the long distance into continually. Did you have good mind? That's asking. This is very great, very short answer. Short question. But this is very important to make an answer for that. Difficult to say yes, right ways. We need to check carefully. We need to say. When you ask like that kind of, we try to make it always say yes, master. We need to say. But that's all we need to also. We need to do it. Just without doing, if we say yes, not right. I see. So now, good mind means, I told you, good cooking, and maybe tomorrow holiday, good cook turkey is something nice with that. That's not really thing, but to do those things. It's not that's good mind. Good mind is benefit for the others, not destroy others. Any kind of babbling, thinking, or body's action will not harm, damage others. That's kind of mind. To thinking. So that's the good mind. Like bodhicitta, we making the motivation. That's good mind. Because through that motivation, we will get the good result. See, that's it. Our teachers emphasize meaning for that bodhicitta and compassion, loving kindness. Do you have bodhicitta? Do you have the compassion for the others? Do you have the loving kindness for the others? That's asking. So what do you think? That's what we need, really it is. Not only talking. We need to do it. Try to make good preparation for us. We don't have much time. Really it is. We cannot wait. Oh, I know, those are very important. But I don't have enough time. Something else needs to do. We need something else to do, yes, with the life. Something else needs to do for the life, to eat, clothing, shelter, something, take care of the others. That kind of we need to do. But so this is always free. Mind is always free. I think. Always free means if not occupied by bad minds, then mind will be free. But as anger comes here, then not free. Cannot think about good ways. No, cannot think about loving kindness. Cannot think about compassion for the others. So, only think about negative. How I harm, like anger. How I harm them by speech, by physically, all thinking like this kind of very bad. We did so much of those pile up. That's why we have traumatic bad results, sickness, mean to somebody else, and pain, suffering, unhappiness, whatever comes this lifetime. All those are result of the harming, damage others. See, that's why we are having. So now we have time, try to make time for stop all those. Stop. We don't have we wishing for in the future. If we have real now, if you don't do that, they only wish. Then what we do? The example is someone has good job. This is for everybody, for example. Someone has good job. Don't take or don't do that, and then think about something else in the future to come. That kind of job. That's foolish, not skillful. They got already. If don't do that, in the future to come something like this, then what do you think? Not so good. So that's kind of now we have really good chance. We are well, we have understanding, we have hearings well, seeings well. If we don't see anything, one day if something happened, eyes, what do you do then? You cannot read. Even though the eyes, okay, wrong, not wrong, but sometimes cannot hear. Then, like he's always given to, like he's always the great qualified teacher. Something give teachings, but if we wrong here, cannot hear. If you are not live, then more lost the chance. So that's kind of we are now. Everything we have chance. If we can't do it, if we want, if we want to do it, we can't do it. So that's why I think, including myself, we are all try to make a really think about all those. We have great teachers now. We have great teachings without broken lineages, everything. And so we have many good examples. So that's this time is, I think, a very good time. So a teacher always asks when he sees. We say when we see people, how are you? Good morning or good afternoon, good evenings. That's all. But a teacher has only one language. Did you have good mind? That's all we need to think about. That means try to make compassion, loving kindness for the others. Really it is. Which we are having everything, good things are shelter, good shelter, clothing, food, whatever we need, necessary things, good things. Of course, knowledge, good opportunity. All those came from others. Came from others, really it is. Including our enemies. Really. We cannot accept your enemies. Enemies only one lifetime maybe. Even early lifetime enemies, but they change in the late and the future, and whatever last life or whatever not last life. Later, changing that great friends. So that's why I think really we try to make it. Compassion, loving kindness for the others. So compassion is, so many times I did, the compassion is all sympathy, four things, this is not really it is. Everyone to be free from sufferings, different kind of sufferings. Like, someone's laughing, singing, dancing, oh, I cannot do compassion for this because they are not suffering. Maybe you think, but they are suffering. Subtle suffering. Day or night, all the time subtle suffering. Changing suffering may be there. Dancers is very dancing, everything, but something happened on the stage. That's changing, suffering. Beginning happiness, that's just changing to the suffering. So that's kind of happening, we can see. So that's why I think really it is. Suffering means compassion means think about others to be free from suffering. Different kind of suffering, subtle suffering, changing suffering, suffering of suffering. There's different kind of, three different kinds of sufferings. So think about it. If you don't remember all those, everyone to be free from all different kinds of sufferings, they can do think about it. So that's all. So that's a loving, compassion is like that. Compassion. The loving kindness is everything, everyone, including enemies, to be all thinking beings, happy, joy, success. That's all needed. So that's always I say, if we have loving kindness with us, we will not have jealous. Different kind of jealousy. Someone say, study student jealous, or so someone's good, then they say they don't like somebody. Some student, this kind of, some are rich, poor people, they don't like us, something like that. Not everybody, but within those. Some are being, this kind of competitions, not so necessary. But you can do, I think, if it's in school or something, competition, you can do that, but wishing for only you to be battery, others are not, don't think about this way. That's bad. So everyone to be happy, joy, success. That's the means loving kindness. Loving kindness means really from the truly others to be happy, joy, success, everything, So that's all we need to think about. All those, that's I think you ask about, do you have those kind of mind for the others? So that's the great ways, I think. So you know each other, student each other, you can say, you have good mind. You give exercise, Did you have good mind, something like that? Try to make answer is yes, no doubt. Maybe begin then to change more. That's what I mean. Always think about love and people says, people, like people says, I love you. There's different kind of it. Maybe loving kindness can be this, but that is I love you. That's word and the meaning is not necessarily loving kindness. So loving kindness without what do you call? Something to think about, to coming back. See, unconditional, yes. Love, unconditional love is the loving kindness. So that's what we need to think about. Okay? This I think very, very, I think in the here says already, so in the teaching. Very important, really. His Holiness always mentioned loving kindness, compassion. He says, no. So those are, because always this loving kindness, great compassion, bring the result of that really success. What we wanted, that's what we will have. So that's the thing about that. Okay? Now, next one, I think. What is it?
We're in the middle of the story of how Atisha is brought to Tibet. Page 6.
Atisha so asked to come to Tibet. Many times waiting list. Sending many people, translators and also Tibetan people. Then finally, Solomon himself, I think, went there. What is that?
We're where the king was put into the jail.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then
read it. I think that's
okay.
what I understand.
And his nephew is speaking to him to send him to.
This kings, Tibetan king 41 king, long time.
Yeshi O.
No. The 41 king. He has two sons, Yeshiva and Yeshiva and Shanchuva. That's two sons. So that's two brothers. They are brothers. So went then to think about to go to India and to get the Atisha to request to come to Atisha to come in Tibet. So then on the ways, one of the king, small kingdoms, but they keep it, they keep the brother Yeshiva, older brother keeper in prison. So, Kalok Jago, yes, Kalok Jago means religion is not Buddhism. It's a different kind of, kindness. Maybe, I don't know if it's faith. I think maybe in other ways. So he keeper. Then king says, that's Kalok Jago, he says, big brother Yeshiva keep in the prison. Shankyu, younger brother asked, please send out. Okay, if you want your brother get out from the prisoner, you need to bring the gold, his size of his body. It's not solid like this kind of large structures, but I think maybe put the size of his body. Then he did almost like most of the body size he got already, but he didn't get the size of the head. Then younger brother says, I have most of the gold I got, your size of your body I got already, but I don't have your size of the head. So I will going to collection, means try to make a size of your head. Please don't die. It requires to his big brother. Big brother says, by the gate of the prison, he see that, and he says, you don't give any gold to this king. Whatever you got of those golds, take to India, and try to get the spending to get the Atisha teacher get to in Tibet. That's what I said. Then we can
take all the gold to India and do all you can to bring Pandit Atisha back. If he will see you, give him my message. I gave up my life to the Garlag Khan for both the Buddha's teachings and your own. Look after me with your compassion for the rest of my lives. My only thought was for you to come to Tibet. I only did this so that the Buddha's teachings could spread in Tibet.
Mm-hmm. So then this older brother said by the gate of the prisoner, you take those girls and go to India ask to come, a teacher to come in Tibet, and you tell to the master or teacher, I'm going to die in prison. I'm happy to die because I never get the before life my spending for the Dharma. This time I got the opportunity to my spending, my life is spending for the Dharma. So, and also then please you to come to give me teaching in the Tibet people to get with the Dharma, try to make clear, pure in Tibet. Say that. Then?
Mm-hmm. You therefore should do as I ask. Bless me so that we definitely meet in my future lives.
Okay, that's a future life. To meet means his older brother says to the younger brother, I will be dying from in the prison, but we will see in the future. That means I think he just those are not what I call ordinary person. I think it's an emanation of the holy being. So that's why he said that. So anyways, then?
Nephew, forget about me. Think of the Buddha's teachings. The uncle was in a weak state, and the sound of his voice was most piteous. Yet Jonchub Wo could well believe his uncle had the courage to think only about the sentient beings of Tibet.
I think two brothers, he has an uncle, means as a father's or mother's child, something like that, but it's two brothers. Then?
Of the Buddha's teachings, think only about the sentient beings of Tibet, of the Buddha's teachings, and of Atisha. He forced himself to leave his uncle. His courage increased, and he acted completely according to his uncle's wishes.
Okay. What we understood from this, he spending his life with for the Dharma. What do we think? Something happened like this. We don't need to spend our life because it means destroy the life. It doesn't need it. But how much we can do effort with the Dharma for ourselves to be, to get knowledge. These are life and the Dharma is what is important. Dharma is more important than life. Choice is. So from this story, we need something to get ourselves. Yeah, that's great. These are even not ordinary, but still spending life for the Dharma. I need to do more than that if we can. So that's kind of need to be something to all those stories. Just not only just stories. We need to get it. And the one thing, if a teacher cannot get to in Tibet, we had before 8th century days dharmas, but from that was then contaminated. Lots of no qualified teachers came from India and from some Tibetan people also went to, but no good qualified teachers they didn't get it. So therefore, contaminated about lots of teachings. So that's why I think we get the pure teaching. Kind of teachers, Tibetan people in Tibet. Now from them, like His Holiness, we got it, We got His Holiness and many qualified teachers, we got it. So all those are, we need appreciation about them. You see that?
In Tibet, there were many people passing off numerous crude religions as Tantra. Some of these were Acharya...
Okay, what is contaminated? Now here say that.
Some of these were Acharya red shirts, the infamous Pandit blue shirts, and the 18 mendicants of Artso. In order to defeat these people peacefully, King Jonchub Wo prayed to the three jewels for guidance as to which of his subjects would be the right person to bring Atisha.
Okay. We need to make purify, means to purify. Try to make real nectar, pure nectar of the Dharma. We need to have. That's why as we asking his Atisha to come. That time in the 11th century, Atisha is a great the master in India. That's why I think that.
All the dice divinations and astrological calculations suggested not so the translator.
Not so Losao. Yes, not so this Losao. So he Tibetans went to India, study not only language, translate these days translators and that before which we are translated different. Before Tibetan translator which from Sanskrit into the Tibetan and between like the translators, they are holy translators. Realization of the teachings by themselves also. That's why they did translation. So that's why I'm very pure. See there? Naso Losao is a translator. He's a Tibetan person. Okay.
And not so happened to be living in the gilded temple at Gungtang. The king,
Gungtang. It's his temple. There.
The king summoned him to Nagari, but feared the translator would not promise.
Nari?
Nari, yeah.
Nari, yes. What was the state of this place? Nari is like California, Tibetans, like California. It's a Nari.
So the king summoned him to Nari, but feared the translator would not promise to go to India.
Okay.
King John Chu Wo therefore had Natso sit on the royal throne, and he presented him with gifts. You must plead with Atisha, said the king. Tell him you have been much praised for your...
on the throne?
Natso, the
king put
him on the throne.
On the throne, and his king sat down on the floor because the Dharma. He requires to go to India to get the Atisha. So great respected because he need to do the great action. Great action is try to bring the Atisha into Tibet. That's why they.
You must plead with Atisha, said the king. Tell him you have been much praised for your scholarship, ethics, and kind-heartedness. My forefathers and the past kings and ministers of state established the Buddha's teachings here. It became the custom, flourished, and spread. Now the Buddha's teachings are in a sorry state. A race of demons has taken over. The dead scholars of the past would be saddened by this. Both I and my uncle have sent much gold to India, but after such a great expenditure of both wealth and men, we still have not brought Atisha back. Our king could not bear this and went in search of gold. An evil Khan imprisoned him. His Majesty gave his life. If you disappoint us, ignorant sentient beings of the remote land of Tibet, after we have shown much courage, how could you be considered compassionate and an object of refuge for sentient beings?
You understand? Okay, just go and read that.
I have 1,400 ounces of gold. Take them and place them in this guru's hands. Tell him, our Tibet is like the city of hungry ghosts. Finding gold in our country is like looking for a single louse on a sheep. It is so hard to find. The gold you see here is the entire wealth of the people of Tibet. But if you, O protector, do not go to Tibet, it would show how little compassion you have. We would then never do anything to better ourselves. Not so, you uphold the Vinaya. Tell Atisha our story in person. If he still refuses, explain the situation until he completely understands it.
He understands.
Atisha.
Okay.
The king was crying so much that there were tears on his lap and on the table in front of him.
Almost everything, so crying. Then
not so the not so the translator, whose real name was Tsultim Gyeltsen, had not done much traveling before and was not at all keen to go off to distant places, but he could not bring himself to say no. We have a proverb...
Because there's so much kings really is so sad, and he can see how the kings are feeling, and then he understood Dharma, also therefore how it is important for the future people, future beings. That's why I think he cannot refuse kings asking. Yeah?
We have a proverb, the one who sees a person crying will begin to cry himself.
Who?
Not so, saw the king crying.
Himself is the king crying, then he saw that, then his mind is so, what do you call, so moved. Not so, the mind is so moved that he crying also. They two both crying. Then
he had never met Geshe Wo before, but knew full well that what the king was saying was quite true. He was aware that the uncle had spent much wealth and that the two of them had given their own happiness for the sake of Tibet so that we could be happy. The king, a man of high rank, had deeply moved Natso. He was speechless. His body was shaking and his face was covered in tears.
Speechless means he can talk, but they not talk why.
Because he's so overcome.
So what you call? Cannot talk anyways,
Yes.
So shock.
He's moved to tears himself.
So much shock. People like this, they cannot talk, everything stuck. Just like that happened. Then
he was speechless, his body was shaking, and his face was covered in tears. He was unable to look at the king's face. The king was asking him to risk both life and limb, but Natso was not attached to any of this life's happiness, and so said he would go.
Some Sajipam cover, I got a Lam Rim teaching from them. Also, they really is some holy beings, they crying, during the teaching, because remember of this means realize about this. So that is does. Then
he received the 1,400 ounces of gold from the king and his 7 ministers and set off on the road to India. The king accompanied him for a great distance. "Monk, you are doing this on my behalf," said the king. "You are risking life and limb, and with great perseverance are now traveling to places that will create much hardship for you. When you return, I will repay your kindness."
Okay. Then king asked to him then.
The king went back a little way. Then he said, "Petition the great compassionate one, Avalokiteshvara, while you are journeying." When Natso the translator and his party reached the kingdom of Nepal, they met a tall man who said,
From Ngari, then go to Nepal, through Nepal. Through Nepal, you need to go to the India. Okay?
They met a tall man who said, "I think you are going to faraway places on a great mission. You will succeed in your mission if you repeat this while you travel. Homage."
Emanation of the Avalokiteshvara sometimes to talk to them, try to make try to make what you call to show road and some what needed dangers, something comes, or those just like people, but form with the people, but overlook the shoulders to show those things. Then to not so.
Repeat this while you travel. Homage to the three jewels. May the holy Dharma, the source of the Buddhas of the three times, spread in the land of snows. Say this as you go. Your journey will then...
You understand now? You do pray in three precious jewels with the Dharma Sangha. That's how we are. We are. When we have dangers, we need to think about with the Dharma Sangha for ourselves, no dangers. Dangers for us, then for somebody else. We can't for the others and save ourselves. Something hard. Because here, Avalokiteshvara mentioned to the not so. When you have dangers, if you do think about the three precious jewels, and then what say?
May the homage to the three jewels, may the holy Dharma, the source of the Buddhas of the three times, spread in the land of snows.
Oh yeah, that's it. Says, taking refuge, and I'm going this because I will get the Atisha from India to Tibet and try to make pure with the Dharma in Tibet. Then?
Say this as you go. Your journey will then be easy. They asked him who he was.
When we have sickness or something, whatever we have something, obstacles comes, we can pray with the Dharma Sangha. I would do this, I need to practice. So for the practice to need to have the, good health. A good health, if I can do practice for the others. So that's kind of, we can also change idea, You see, that's it there.
They asked him who he was. You will come to know who I am, he said. There were also many different emanations of Drom Tompa.
Yeah, Drom Tompa is the Avalokiteshvara, real, taking form of the human being. Drom Tompa. The Avalokiteshvara means like his whole Dalai Lama is at once Drom Tompa. So that's his whole Dalai Lama is the emanation of the Avalokiteshvara. See, that's the way I. It's not only believe, Buddha himself says in the many teachings prophesied of that. That's indeed so. Then
these emanations removed the many dangers that threatened Natso and his party on the road. At last they arrived at the gate of Vikramshila, where Vikramshila. There was a
Kamalashila.
Vikramshila.
Vikramshila.
Vikramshila is a big monastery. Natsu means Atisha in there, this monastery. They were robbing there, then what's it?
There was a parapet over the gate.
Vikramshila is the name of the monastery. They like Nalendra. So Nalendra and Vikramshila, they're two big one, that town, Then
there was a parapet over the gate, and Gyeltsen Senj, because he could understand Tibetan, called down to them from a cliff in the parapet. Tibetan sirs, where have you come from? We have come from Upper Nagari, they answered.
Ngari. We came from Ngari.
Nari, they answered. There is a gatekeeper. Leave all your things with him. Have a good night's sleep in some shelter.
Oh, yeah.
The gate will be open just after first light.
He met another Tibetan person from the monastery. Where are you going?
Gyeltsen Senj.
Yeah, Gyeltsen. Then he says, your things are whatever. Put with the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Then you go sleep. Then what is that?
They gave their gold to the son of the gatekeeper, who put it in an inner room. Trust me as you would your best friend, he said. Don't worry, sleep well. They thought that the small child saying such things could not be an ordinary person.
Okay, that's it. Small child is at once Avalokiteshvara's emanation. Just, that's what I'm saying. Then?
This set their minds at rest. Next morning, as soon as the gate was opened, a young child appeared. He wore a pointed hat and was dressed like a Tibetan nomad, complete with 2 layers of woolen clothes and carrying a small wooden bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That's
a child.
Where have you Tibetans come from? The child asked.
The child asked to him.
You seem to be none the worse for your journey. Nakso's party found it heartening to run into someone speaking the nomad dialect.
Everything they said. We came here, try to get a teacher. So also those who said, then child says you should not say that like that, keep quiet. Then what is it?
We have come from Upper Nagari, they said. We have had a smooth journey. What brings you here? Where are you going? I'm also Tibetan, replied the child. We're going to Tibet. We Tibetans have very loose tongues. We are too naive. We don't know how to keep a secret. Important things must be done in secret. Gyeltsen Senge is staying in the Tibetan quarters.
Chaya said that, you must be secret. We Tibetans are very open, they don't do that. Because if it says, we came because the Atisha request to go to Tibet, if you say that, then never get it. Because they don't want to give, they pick out. So Chaya says, you don't say those things. Then what does he read?
Gyeltsen Senge is staying in the Tibetan quarters. Ask around and you'll find it. And with that, he was gone. They entered a long lane, followed it, and came upon an old holy man with a bamboo walking stick. Where have you come from? He asked. What was so important to make you come? We have come from Upper Nagari, they replied. We have come to bring back the illustrious Atisha. Where is Gyeltsen Senji's house?
Chaya said, read it, but they forgot this one. That's the same, another also Avalokiteshvara's emanation of that. Chaya's gone, so then test another one. A person came. Then
the old holy man leaned on his stick and rolled his eyes. The child you met this morning spoke the truth. Tibetans can't keep their mouths shut. They even tell all their secrets to people lurking in alleys. How can you hope to accomplish anything this way?
Yeah.
It's a good thing you told me, but speak of this to no one but Atisha. I will show you Gyeltsen Senge's door.
Gyeltsen Senge is the Tibetan person. Also, he's staying there. So, great master already in India. He's Tibetan. The translator also one for the translators. Then
the old man made his way slowly, and yet Nyatso could not keep up with him. Nyatso found him waiting on the threshold of the Tibetan quarter.
Nakso. Yeah, no. I think it should be
Nakso.
N-A-K, is it?
Nakso.
Yeah, Nakso.
Oh, Nakso.
Okay, then?
They could not keep up. They couldn't keep up with him. Nakso found him waiting on the threshold of the Tibetan quarters. Great matters must be done slowly, said the old man. Make haste slowly.
This man, you see? Then?
What you want lies far off, and you must climb a mountain step by step. This is his house. Nakso went inside and made an offering of gold to Gyeltsen Senge, the translator. Gyeltsen saw him and asked, where have you come from? He told his story in detail. It appears that you were once my disciple, Gyeltsen said, and yet I do not recognize you. Tell no one you have come to invite Atisha. Say that you have come to learn. There is an elder called...
Don't say that I came to here for the Atisha to get. I came here to learn with the Dharma, staying there.
There is an elder called Ratnakara Shanti.
Rena Akar, this is the abbot of the monastery, yes. There?
He is very powerful here and is Atisha's master.
Yeah.
He must not suspect what you intend to do. We shall now make him an offering of an ounce of gold. Tell him we have failed to invite any pandits. After that, be in no hurry. Don't let things worry you.
Yeah, that's it. Nitya Rena Akar is the head of the monastery abbot, and his Atisha is also teacher. So he asked, what do you want to do here? We want to learn Dharma. So, and also we want somebody painted us, means a skull, means a holy being, someone. We ask her to bring the to Tibet. That's not say, no particular Atisha don't say. That's not say. Then? Do you understand that's what say, is it?
After that, be in no hurry. Don't let things worry you. When the time is right, we shall skillfully invite Atisha to come here. Nakso and Gyatsen Senge went to see Elder Ratnaka Rashanti and presented him with an ounce of gold. Nakso spoke with him for some time, giving the agreed-on story. The elder then said, "That is wonderful. The other pandits cannot subdue sentient beings. This is no exaggeration. The Buddha's teachings may have originated in India, but without Atisha, the merit of sentient beings here will decline."
He said that's one.
The elder said this.
Huh?
The elder...
he said, Nitya Rena Akar, he said that. There? Without actually India that time, without Atisha in India, so also to hold the Buddha Dharma is quite difficult. He said that. So don't ask about, don't say we want to bring Atisha to Tibet. Yeah?
He also said many other things. For some time it was very difficult for them to see Atisha. Just the same, emanations of Avalokiteshvara had provided many auspicious opportunities for Atisha to travel to Tibet. Then a day came when there were no other Indian pandits or kings around to suspect what was happening. Gyatsen Senge told Nakso to come and took him to Atisha's room. They offered Atisha a world mandala 1 cubit high, surmounted by
if you Tibetan holy translator Privet, he was there. He Gyatsen Senge, he took her to Naksolosawa to the Atisha place. Then
they offered Atisha a world mandala 1 cubit high, surmounted by a gold piece, which was itself surrounded by small pieces of gold. Translator Gyatsen Senge spoke for both of them. He told how the king of Tibet was a bodhisattva and how the Dharma had spread under the 3 Dharma Rajas, Sochen Gempo, Trisen Detsen, and Ralpha Chan. He told how King Langdharma had persecuted the teachings.
Okay, Sochen Gampo started with the Dharma in the 7th century. Trison Detsen, I think, that's one during that time. Trison Detsen, 38 king of Tibet. So his time, Pema Sambhava, and also from Nepal, Sangharakshita, both Tibet, and everything's good, very pure Dharma. Then after that, then a little bit, not so good. Then that means three kings Lama here also. Then
he told how King Langdharma had persecuted the teachings and how the great Lama Gompa Rabsel had managed to preserve the Sangha and increase its numbers.
The monks and nuns means started 8th century in Tibet. The post monastery is in Samye. If you go to Lhasa, you can go to Samye, post monastery. So before, from that increasing monasteries, 1959 when Chinese destroyed mostly almost like 7,000 monasteries in the whole country. So that's kind of increasing. Then
he spoke of the sacrifice the king's uncle had.
The 41 king Lam Dharma. He's the devil. Is king. Means he's destroyed with the Dharma in central Tibet. Then Gombara Lachin Gombarasa means he and he's the supposed son. Then start Benai back. Lineage of the Benai in Tibet back. So then
he spoke of the sacrifice of the king's uncle had made to bring Atisha to Tibet. He gave Jongchu Wo's message and described the sort of perverted dharma prevalent in Tibet.
Oh yeah, those are also telling the Natsulozawa told to the Atisha or the situation what happened in Tibet.
The Bodhisattva king of Tibet, Gyeltsen said, has sent this man to invite you, worthy protector. Don't just fob us off and say you will go next year. Look compassionately on Tibet. The Tibetan king is a bodhisattva, said Atisha. The 3 Dharma Rajas were the emanations of bodhisattvas. Gompa Rabse was an emanation of a bodhisattva. Otherwise, how could he have rekindled the embers of the teachings?
3 kings means Songtse Gampo, and then Tusong Detsen, and also then the 40 king, the Ngada Tirabas. Those are, and then those are bodhisattvas in there.
The kings of Tibet are bodhisattvas. It would not be right to disobey the orders of a bodhisattva. I feel ashamed before this king. He has spent much wealth. You Tibetans are in a piteous state, but I am responsible for the many keys of the temples of the monastery. I am old. I have many offices to perform.
Who said that?
This is Atisha speaking.
Okay, then.
I cannot hope to return from Tibet. Still, I shall investigate this matter. Keep your gold for the time being. Then he sent them away. Atisha then investigated whether it would benefit the Buddha's teachings if, out of his love for his potential Tibetan disciples, he went to Tibet. He also checked whether it would be a hindrance to his own lifespan. Avalokiteshvara, Tara, and so forth told him that it would prove most beneficial to sentient beings and to the teachings if he went.
Also, okay. Then, when request, when they see the Natsolozawa to see the Atisha, gave offering to those ghosts, and which king sent those, and then he says, I am very now not too young, and also I have a response for the monastery, Bekamala, and also many keys means some like a whole day, like for monks. Really, it is like being father or something like this kind of everything spiritually way and also everything. So that's why he doubted, and also myself also can be go there, or life, whatever would be happening, a little bit doubt. Then Avalokiteshvara and Tara both then talking to the directly or with emanations or through the dream or many ways. So that's why you must go. If you go to in Tibet, will you have the great action for the Dharma said. Then we will read.
Mm-hmm. But if he did go, his life would be shortened. Atisha asked by how much. They told him he would live to 91 if he did not go, and if he did go, he would reach only 73, meaning that his life would be shortened by almost 20 years.
Yeah.
At this point, Atisha thought of all the benefits of his going to Tibet, and if it meant a shorter life, then so be it.
What we think, if you say something, if we have like this kind of choice, then what do we do? Stay long life, 20 years more longer, life better, or go to Tibet, and like this kind of any choice comes, what do we do? I think we keep a long life. Then
he had developed such strength of purpose that he did not care for his own life at all. However, Atisha did not want to go to Tibet immediately because the Indian Sangha and their benefactors would say that India, the very fountainhead of the teachings, would go into decline. In order to prevent such talk, Atisha employed his skillful means. Instead of telling people he was going to Tibet, he said he would go on to an extensive tour to make offerings at Bodh Gaya and other great places of pilgrimage, traveling back and forth. Drong Tompa, being in the true sense a Dharmaraja, skillfully manifested in the forms of traders. Without anybody suspecting it, they took back to Tibet many holy statues of Arya Manjuvarja, Arya Manjuvarja, a form of Gyasamaja, etc., the symbols of the bodies of the Buddhas, as well as many scriptures, the symbol of the Enlightened One's speech.
But enlightened speech, who did speech?
The symbol of the Enlightened One, of Buddha's speech. I think that's what they say.
Those he brought a lot sculptures and images.
Oh, Atisha brought them out of, or Drom Tapa.
Then
with the
speech means light one means, what is light one?
Enlightened. It means the Buddha is what I'm thinking. It's an epitaph for a Buddha, Enlightened One's speech.
All those I think this actually those images, the talking images are there. Speech to him. So I think Tara is Tara image, and Avalokiteshvara. His Yidam is the main deity is the Avalokiteshvara and the Tara. So Tara always, the Avalokiteshvara and Tara's purpose side to Atisha. Thus, then
Atisha asked the elder if he would be permitted to go to Nepal and Tibet. There were many exceptional stupas and places of pilgrimage there, and he would be gone only as long as it would take to see them. The elder observed that Atisha seemed rather keen to go, and that the Tibetans had been most determined to take him, so he allowed him to go for a short while. Not so the translator had promised to bring him back within 3 years.
His rich teacher and the abbot of the Naxo, abbot of the Bekamalachala. So Nathan Rena Akar, his name. So he said during 3 years. 3 years after they must bring back. He promised to them. Then,
Thus Atisha and his disciples left India for the kingdom of Nepal. The Tibetan king came with 300 horsemen and gave a lavish welcome. We are told how the local people would instantly develop faith at the mere sight of him, and how their mind streams became subdued. Pabonka Dorje Chang also spoke in detail on the meeting between Atisha and the great translator Richen Zangpo. Then King Janchu Wo made this submission to Atisha. He told him how in the past the 3 Dharma Rajas had endured hundreds of difficulties to establish the Buddha's teachings.
Now the Atisha they went to Ngari already to see the king. Then the king told about the situation, what happened in Tibet, and also many translators and also Tibetan people sending, especially Lalamai hears he spent his life for the Dharma. Those are 10. Then
he told how in the past the 3 Dharma Rajas had endured hundreds of difficulties to establish the
3 Dharma Raja means, you understand, Dharma Raja? Raja means king.
The 3 kings.
Dharma kings. There's something, first is something Gampo, then second Chasong Det say, and this third one, Ngada Tre, 14th king of Tibet. So those 3 Dharma Rajas means. Then
they had endured hundreds of difficulties to establish the Buddha's teachings here in the northern land of snows. But Langdharma had persecuted the teachings. Janchub Wo's own forebears, the Dharma Rajas of Nagari, had re-established the Buddha's teachings in Tibet without regard for their own lives. But now some people had taken to the Tantras and ignored the Vinaya. Others swore by the Vinaya and ignored the Tantras. The Sutras and Tantras were held to be as opposite as hot and cold. People carried out their own fanciful practices, and more to the point, Acharya red shirts.
Yeah, it's actually Tantra and the Sutras combination. Without the Sutras, Sutra path cannot do practice Tantra. But that time, the opposite. Like Tantra, someone doing practice Tantra, they don't do the Vinaya or all those things. Because someone's like become monks, they say you cannot do the practice Tantra. So all those like opposite. Or those are contaminated. Or those are king telling to the now Atisha, why we need you, because for those then try to make clear. Then
people carried out their own fanciful practices, and more to the point, Acharya red shirts and Acharya blue shirts taught a doctrine of liberation through intercourse.
Blue shirts, you don't blue shirts, not blue shirt, blue clothes, like a Japanese style. So blue, I think blue. Blue, then red also. Yeah, we have red. Yellow. Then
the red shirts and blue shirts taught a doctrine of liberation through intercourse to the long-haired practitioners of the old tantras.
Yeah, traditionally, long hakpas, long hair. Today we have also those things. So there is not monk. Not being monk. Those are practitioners, but Tantra practitioners. But this day is no contradict to each other. It's not. They need. They have long hair, but they need long. The bodhicitta try to make a bodhicitta and a realization of impotence, and then practice Tantra. That they need to do today. We have that one, yeah.
the teachings had declined so much that they were like meaningless babble. He went on in much detail, and his eyes were filled with tears. Compassionate Atisha, he said, for now, do not teach the profoundest and most amazing of dharmas to your uncivilized disciples of Tibet. I ask you to teach instead the dharma of the law of cause and effect.
You see? Okay. That's requested by King.
Also, may it please the protector to compassionately teach some error-free yet easy-to-practice dharma, one that you yourself practice, includes the whole path and would be beneficial to Tibetans in general, and encompasses all the victorious one's scriptures, the sutras, tantras, and the commentaries.
So there's a King request. I think stop there.
Okay.
King request. And from high level, beginning high level, like high tantras, those are too early. And from the, actually, the three scopes, Lam Rim way is the beginning. First scope, then second karma, the cause and practice, teaching of those, and then try to make it clear. Whatever you do practice, that's kind of please giving to teaching for us. That's what it called. So that's why a teacher is the beginning. Also like compassion, loving kindness, try to get bodhicitta. All those are giving teaching first. Then later, then there's tantra also, yes. But at the beginning, the teaching of the 18 quality legal life, which then try to get the meaningful of the life, the life of the meaningfully, and then also to take refuge in take refuge serious, and take refuge vows, then also try to learn law of karma. Then through that, then bodhicitta and the compassion, loving kindness, all those are giving teachings. He King request, and he did also. So that's why I think it's very great. 17 years. Okay, now tomorrow comes next Wednesday. He was 3 years, cannot come to Central Tibet. In the very round of the upper West Tibet, mostly West Tibet. He was there. Then 3 years all finished. Then Lotsawa says, means translator, Lam Java, he says, now I need to take back the Atisha, because I did promise to his teacher. She comes later. So then coming back to take back to Nepal. Then, but from Nepal, then something happened, and then didn't go to India back to Tibet. Then Central Tibet. Then he was 17 years in Tibet. So giving teachings. That's why Kadam tradition came from Atisha. So see, everything, all lineages, Lam Rim lineages, everything lineage. Lineage of the wisdom and the compassion, lineage of compassion, both combined to the Atisha I told already. So that's kind of, you see, very great master. We need also much we can, even few words, whatever his teachings. All those lamas are this. Lamrim's root of the Lamrim's teaching is the Atisha's. Atisha did the commentary of the Buddha's teachings. So Buddha's teaching has 84,000 teachings, but volumes of 84,000. But Atisha put all those are put together with the actual Tibetan's with maybe 6-7 pages. Not both sides, all those sutra and tantra both in there. 2000, we have 2000, he sold it 10 iron to cost to give me teaching of the length of the teachers, teachings. So that's the, he made it for the interbank, for the disciples. You see, even now we are following that one. We are studying. So it's great, okay? Now, I think we stop there. When you read, really it is just what we can do, what the holy beings, what they did action. But that's kind of we can do. But what I can do, that's kind of, similar to like that. That's the meaning thing about it. So, then if you do like that, then read. Read is very, very good. Otherwise, if you read when people reading the story, how just pages go through, then finish it, leave it, nothing happened here. So I think holy beings, spiritual holy beings, what they did, action, and even not teachings, but story of the holy beings' life, all those are how much we can get the example from that, how much I can do like that. So I think that is very important to us. Okay, now we do dedication. We were seeing for us like teaching of the Buddha Dharma, long time with beings. A person like His Holiness Dalai Lama and another great masters, holder of the Dharma, Buddha Dharma. All those are to have a long life. So, monks, nuns, and all any other life persons, practitioners, everyone, to have the accomplishment of practice, whatever they will do, accomplishment of practice of that without obstacles. Then we will hear for us in this country and in the country, there will not happen bad things, disease, starvation, war, and those things will not be happened, and everything good fortunes are coming in this world or in this country and all others with all beings. Then we are not wishing for ourselves and all other sentient beings to have the free from the obstacle of the delusions and illusions, and then become a being Buddha, by which we did action of Dhamma, we are together. Tomorrow holiday, see? Happy holiday to everybody. Happy holiday. Thanksgiving. What is the thing?
The pilgrims lived through the winter. They had harvested their food, so they had a big gathering meal.
Yeah,
to give
thank you to whom?
Who were they thanking?
No, thank you. Thanksgiving thing though. But sorry, says Thanksgiving. What does it mean? Thanksgiving to whom?
Give thanks to the be alive. I think they should have been thanking the Indians who kept them alive. They would have starved to death if the Indians didn't provide for them. So.
That's nothing.
Good mind.
Oh, that's good. Really? Really have a good mind? Really? I hope you have a good mind. You see? That's not good. We learn. That means that what is the picture coming in our mind, that's more important. To have a good mind means loving kindness for the others, a compassion for the others. See, that's what I'm saying.
Can we say this to people who aren't Buddhists?
No. Strangers you cannot say. You can say yes. You can say yes. Good morning. Yes. You can say that. What means if they say, then you need to think about it, to tell. Do you have good mind? What means? You say, then what is okay. Hey. Hey. Come here.
I don't know what's on and off on that camera. It doesn't say on and off.
You know? That's the on record.
What's that? Oh, yeah. How's your mom?